So what the hell were they being haunted by?
A lot of things. So you know how you mentioned you wanted to see. Well, at least what I wanted to see more of like other elements they could have done with like the monsters and stuff. The one I liked and I feel like would have been really effective was the really tall one in the hallway that they showed.
I know
that thing was actually creepy, and I felt like if they used that thing more, it would have been cool.
All right, so how many monsters do they showed here that were really different besides the clown in the mask that was a plain serial killer,
which
he was basically the main star of the killing.
Yeah. There was a witch. The witch was new.
Oh yeah, we got your old fashioned witch. We got, of course, spiritual possession. We got explosive water.
Yeah, that one was just like they kind of needed to come up with something.
Exactly.
That's what I felt with that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was hoping like maybe there'll be like, I don't know, like zombies coming out now, or like maybe a wolf. Basically, what
they showed a werewolf too.
They did, and I kind of wanted it something similar to Cabins in the Woods because I was looking into that. Like, it looked like they were going for it, but they kind of changed their minds just a little bit.
No, it did feel like that.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah, because I would like to see different kind of monsters. I would love to see the big one. Do you remember when they're
in the hallway? Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Not the one we're talking about in the rain.
Oh yeah, the siren head looking guy. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, I want to see that. But it didn't happen.
Yeah.
It was just there to scare him away so they could go back into the house.
I wish they had. I hated when they did that scene. Or like when they kind of skipped the nights a little bit. Yeah.
I hated how they kind of did that because it kind of does show and it makes sense a little bit, like showing that they're kind of losing their minds.
Yeah.
And getting exhausted of dying over and over. Because in a way, they did try kind of fight back, but they still end up dead anyway. Yeah. Because I do want to see like all 13 nights, but of course we'll be having a longer movie if that was the case.
Yeah.
Because this movie's only like, what, an hour and 43 minutes.
Yeah.
Minus 10 minutes of end credits. And so let's go to the beginning and how did this start out? Of course, we have Clover and her friends are basically going to to this cabin because they need to find her sister. And her sister has gone missing for quite a long time and she can't contact her somehow. And obviously when that happened, they stopped in the gas station where basically they saw this guy named Hill. Hill is basically there all creepy looking and just there as the cashier in the back. And this is the part where he's saying that people do go off missing.
Yeah, but up ahead.
Grove, I believe.
Yeah, it was something Grove.
Yeah, they were basically there and people basically disappeared there.
Yeah, a lot of times.
A lot. And obviously she's worried about her sister, that maybe something bad happened to her. So obviously the group goes, but obviously one of them, the tall guy, was basically going like, I thought we were here on vacation. I didn't thought we were here trying to look for a missing person. I was like, you're kind of right, bro. Like, I thought you would be on vacation mode, but obviously no, you're going off like into a murder mystery kind of thing.
Yeah, that they kind of just all got dragged along.
So what happened after that? When they finally kind of were...
Well, it was raining. It started raining, a really bad thunderstorm. But when they got into the house, it was weird. It was like an anomaly.
Oh, yeah.
So the rain wasn't getting in there.
They never really explained the rain. They just said it happened.
Yeah, I don't even remember what he called it.
Waterfall?
Like that, no, something else. But he like pulled something out of his ass. But anyways, when they go inside. Now so what's interesting is before she signed her name, she saw her sister...
Oh, yeah.
Allegedly outside in the rain where they came from. So she's outside. Max is outside watching. Then you have when they're exploring the house inside of the other three. It was, I don't remember her name, but she writes her name on the guest name. Which at the same time, the tall guy, I forgot his name, he discovers all the missing people missing, especially Melanie.
Yeah.
And then...
that was his sister, by the way, yeah.
And that's when the sun goes down. So Max pulls her back in, and then that's when everything begins.
But I think it's because the sister kind of wants to warn her. In my way, I think I see in her that she was trying to go like, please leave. Try not to come here. Because there was a moment a couple of times that her sister could have killed her, but didn't.
Yeah.
So I think it was trying to warn her, but didn't do it.
Yeah, because there's a scene where she gets dragged in
like 3 times. She could have killed her, but didn't. And obviously, why was the reason though? But we'll go on first after that. So after the whole I guess one of them saw the hourglass. I guess
It turns over.
yeah, it turns over basically, and basically that's the timer of how long you have before until dawn. So
The name. Yeah.
exactly the name. Got it.
Which
So-
is cool, I like that. It's cool, and that it had the skull of the Until Dawn in the game and stuff like that.
yeah,
Which, if you pay attention, and you played the game, and you're like, oh, it's neat.
yeah. It was really nice and cool, and I
Yeah.
like that part about it.
Now the first killer. So when they get inside, their car gets hijacked allegedly.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
it's not even shown like what or who moved it back.
It was probably the killer. He probably moved it back, and he just walked away. It was rainy, so they probably wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, someone
giving
kept their
them
eyes.
excuses.
Yeah, someone there. Two of them were watching the car. The other two went downstairs. They're trying to find clues. I don't think they found anything at the time.
Well, what they found down there is they found a radio. They found a phone that did dial but did not connect to anything. They're just trying to find some help. They're trying to see if they could contact somebody in the outside and see if they could come and pick them up. But sadly, it did not. They actually got a visitor from the first killer, the clown mask guy.
Yeah.
And he slaughtered everybody right away.
Yeah, he killed the other guy in half, which is I don't even know how he got in there.
Oh, he just slid him up. So.
He threw the pickaxe at the other girl, and then it's funny because when the guy went upstairs.
Oh yeah, I did like how he was trying his best to at least fight him.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that really affected him. Like he has a Michael Myers strength.
Yeah, the Michael Myers Jason strength.
Jason strength. It doesn't affect him because I guess he's already dead.
Which we do learn he can die. It's just.
Oh yeah.
It's just.
Takes a little bit more effort.
Yeah, it takes a lot more effort. But anyways, he kills all three of them. Max tries to fight him.
Brutally, I might
Yeah,
ask.
brutal. He literally slams the shit out of Megan's head. Anyways,
Everybody dies.
Yeah. When they die, they come back. This is where we learn the thing resets. So
Yeah.
they're stuck in a time loop.
Yeah. Where was the time loops for at least each of them? Do you remember the time loops where they were at?
Yeah. I said it. When she wrote her name, when he was in the room and it looked at the missing people, and Megan was in the bathroom, and then Max pulled her out of the rain.
Yeah, and they were right there. See, that's what I was kind of wondering. I was like, maybe their souls legitimately went away, but it's explained later on.
Yeah.
I was like, damn it. It'd been a lot cooler if it was souls. If it were like basically the soul left the body and then they got killed and they came back to the body again. But whatever, I'm thinking way too much into it. So either way, what happened after that? They thought right now that something bad is happening. The spiritual one already knew what was going on because she's into that kind of crazy stuff. And she's like, we're in an endless loop of death. We're gonna die. We're gonna keep on dying no matter what until we find a way out. And the funny thing is, they're trying to find some clues, what is going on.
Yeah.
But obviously, the tall guy, saw the missing poster, and he said, "Dude, we're screwed. There are faces there, basically lost,
Yeah.
and basically we're next."
Which this is when she gets possessed, right?
Oh yeah, she gets possessed.
Yeah.
Like Megan, 100% gets possessed.
Yeah, literally takes them to the room. What did she say? Oh, don't let him in.
Yeah. Well, she was pointing at the missing posters, each
Yeah.
of them having their own life experience of death. So they all died while she was pointing each and every single one, even a child, even an
Yeah.
old lady, an old man. And those are the people that went missing completely. And we know what happens to them later
Well,
on.
most of them, yeah. Or yeah, actually all of them, yeah.
Yeah, they turn to goddamn Wendigos.
Yeah. Which is, if you played the game, you'll know that's
Yeah.
the main thing.
Bullshit. I don't think that's the Wendigos. Those are like
They're
downgraded
zombies. Yeah,
zombie
that's what I'm saying.
Wendigos.
The Wendigos in that
in the
game,
game,
are terrifying.
yeah, they were more terrifying. They were actually like wolves.
Yeah.
Well, taller too.
Yeah, which was they're cool, like interesting, and like I guess I believe in Native American folklore. They're like the scariest shit you could come across. I think.
Oh yeah, of course.
Um,
I would believe that too.
But anyways, pretty much every time you notice them die, they start having effects because they deal with the witch. I think this time they deal with the witch.
Oh, but this one when it gets interesting though. This is the part where basically you see a whole house appeared.
Yeah, so
And I was like, what the hell?
yeah, everything was different now.
And I was just like, this is actually getting interesting. This is the part where I was in it and I was loving it. I was like, so what are they going to encounter in the house? Obviously, the spiritual one came and killed Megan because it cracked her neck and basically cracked all her bones.
Now I remember what happened.
Yeah.
It mimicked the sister.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So at first I was like, I thought it didn't matter if they died. I thought as long as they survived the night, it's fine. But later we learned that they have to, or one person has to be sacrificed.
Which doesn't make any sense in the end, which we will explain later.
But so technically it got its kill when it killed Megan that time.
Oh, okay.
When she got possessed and cracked her neck, they just didn't have to open the door. So anyway, she gets pulled in there. She encounters the witch. She sees a video. What video was it? It talked about the mine.
Yeah, it was talking about the mine, which basically collapsed and killed everybody, and that takes an effect later on in the story. So basically, she managed to know what is happening a little bit because of the mine, because that's what she kind of understood. And the witch, go ahead.
The witch does tell her though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And the witch tells her that you have to legitly survive the night or be part of it. And I was like, oh snap! I actually like that part because it does take a factor to every single night. But I wish some of these people died though to make more of a like an actual horror film. Because to be honest, everybody lived.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. Okay, I guess it was trying to get from the game because you could make everybody live, and that's what it. But I think it would have been a great effect if there's some people that did die. Yeah. But whatever, it don't matter. So obviously, this is the part where I love the scene where the two guys, or the girl and the guy, literally took a vehicle to the rainy part. Yeah. And they encountered some sort of, what was it?
I don't know. It was like some
a
siren.
Giant.
It was like a siren head. That was cool though.
The siren head?
That's what I'm calling him.
The siren head? Oh, yeah. I couldn't see him really, but that was really cool though. Because he does show up again. He does kill them.
No, I don't think that was it. That was a different monster.
Was it a different monster?
Yeah, I think it was a different monster.
Oh, okay, please explain for the monster a little bit later. So basically the siren head monster scared them. I wanted him to at least kill them both, at least slam their, whatever. It didn't happen, but that was cool. I enjoyed it, and I was like, all right, there's going to be more monsters kind of similar to that. I wish, but there was not much. Yeah,
because when they get back, so Clove gets possessed. That's where she learned about the one night, or they have to survive the night. Max does go inside. He goes upstairs. He kicks a damn clown. I think he gets stabbed too.
Yeah, he gets stabbed by the girl.
Yeah.
By Clover.
Yeah.
Because she was possessed. She killed and then after that, the guy run her over. The killer run her over. That was creative.
I was like, all right, interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's fun. And obviously they ended up back again in the same position, and they don't know what is happening. Or they do know what's happening now. They have to, at least Clover tells everybody that they have to survive the night or else they will legitimately die in 13 days.
So this is when they just decide to wait it out.
Yeah.
They waited out, which I guess they almost made it. But the tall guy got thirsty. He drank water, gave everyone water, but then he explodes.
Which was cool.
Yeah. They all pretty much start exploding one by one.
It's funny because it showed Megan a little bit kind of worried because she's like, there's no water, but yet the water turned on. So she was kind of confused, but she kind of just like,
they're all thirsty and exhausted though. So,
Yeah, so they started drinking water. But to be honest, I wouldn't drink the water because that first time when he opened it,
it was nasty
stuff came out. I was like, dude, that could have been sewer water at that point.
Or anything. Yeah, you wouldn't want to trust that.
Yeah, exactly. But he did it anyway. Just like you said, they were thirsty. Yeah. They wanted some water. And everybody had a water, and we all knew what was going to happen. Yeah,
so they all explode. She just falls down and lays there, pretty much just accepting what happened. But then this is when Dr. Hill shows up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So this is when he shows up, and he told her that they almost made it. I forgot what else he says.
Oh, he said, yeah, you almost made it, but sitting around
won't do anything.
Won't do anything. Like, you're just going to die again.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's sick.
So that was interesting about that.
It's kind of funny that he's trying to get them to do the things because obviously what it shows in later on that he is a scientist and he's technically experimenting on them.
Yeah.
So they won't just sit around and do nothing all night.
Because that's exactly what he doesn't want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we kind of tell after that when he basically tells her to come outside to follow him in the woods. Yeah. Which was funny because he was lying anyway.
Yeah, he was lying because they were pretty much in a good spot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I could have tried again and just not drink the water.
Yeah, exactly. But he said someone has to die.
Oh yeah.
Regardless, so that was a different take they had to do. Yeah, she goes out there. She gets attacked by. Well, this is where they have the dialogue of like, "Yeah, you should go out there. Your sister will be there."
Oh, yeah, that guy's an asshole,
yeah.
but I like him.
Yeah,
though.
but yeah.
Yeah.
This is where they learn like that how their loyalties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She goes out there. They realize they're like, "What the hell? We fucked up. Like, we gotta go get her."
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously there is got to be a sacrifice to be made.
Yeah.
They have to be. And obviously the guy barely knows any of them, really.
Yeah, so he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he
really.
doesn't care. He's just in here to look for a Well, he just wanted to have fun, but of course he's there for a missing person. So of course he'll be pissed. Of course he doesn't want to do this. So she actually goes out there to go find the doctor, who basically tricks her, and basically this is the part where she found
this is
her
where we see.
sister.
Yeah, we see the Wendigos officially.
Oh
This
yeah,
scene.
and I was like, dude, this is sick. I'm loving this. I'm enjoying it for the most part. I was in it, especially when I thought she was dead, but turned out that she was still alive. And the reason why is because of her sister.
Yeah.
Her sister, I'm pretty sure she did not want to kill her because she would have been dead a long time ago. So she had some sort of control.
Yeah, a lot of plot armor.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There is a lot of plot armor, but then again, every other horror film has some sort of plot armor.
But,
so I'm not going to bash it for that.
The serial killer ends up killing the other two.
Yeah.
In the house. Max and Megan go out there. They encounter the Wendigo too. Megan falls down, breaks the glass. She gets carried off. She was done.
Oh, yeah.
And then he saves Chloe. They both hide, but she was like, "You gotta kill me. We gotta reset. Everyone's dead."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "We have to get out of this together." He slits her throat, and then he blows himself up. And then we get the reset of the night. Which one was this one?
Which was the sixth one, I believe, the fifth one. This is the part when they were in the office. Or, well, actually, this is the part where she had that unnecessary flashback.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, are you serious? You're putting this here? I was like, I get it. You needed a break. But you could have done way better than
she
this.
Was like, I think she was napping or something like that.
Yeah, I get it. But it took away from the whole other experience of what I wanted.
Yeah, because when they get to, they look even more exhausted than they ever been.
Yeah.
And then they find out that they're losing their memory.
Yeah.
So Megan's missing. They find out that they're on the 13th night, which is their last, which they thought they were at their 4th or 5th night. And then luckily he was recording. This is where we get to see some of the cool stuff that I wish they showed more of.
Exactly. It's they skimmed over these stuff, and this is the stuff that worked. Because I loved how they had these kind of different monsters showing up.
Yeah.
There's one that we saw from the trailer, how there was a bug inside of her cheek, and it went back inside and kind of eating her from the inside.
Which that one skipped.
Yeah, and I was like, damn it. What was the other one? The other one, it was Max and the other guy trying to find a way out.
Oh, yeah, they fight a Wendigo.
They fought a Wendigo. They were just fighting. Yeah. Basically, they were just fighting throughout that night, but they still end up dying.
Megan chases down Dr. Hill.
Yeah.
Which we don't see that one. And then we see the one monster that came out of the hallway that was super tall.
Oh yeah, that's
the one I was like, oh, that's cool.
See, like these are creative stuff. You should have showed more of this instead of the other stuff. And I get it. It's like they're underneath the budget because this is pretty much, they don't want to go all out on this.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's like, at least show me something like Cabin in the Woods style. Like show me like these monsters coming out of nowhere. And they kind of do, but it's mostly Wendigos. And I'm like, kind of tired of Wendigos. Can you show me something else? So, but either way, it happened. They saw Megan actually chasing the doctor because she needed to find a way out.
Yeah,
and that is the best shot that they have.
Yeah, instead of just waiting around.
Exactly. So what happened after that when she finally woke up and all that stuff?
They're like, well, we gotta go. Well, they first checked themselves. They figured out it was the 13 nights, obviously. They find out they're changing.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, we have to find them. We have to find her. So they have to go through the mines. So basically it's Lord of the Rings. They go through the mines. Which, what did they encounter there?
Wendigos.
Yeah, they encounter more Wendigos. They encounter a whole horde of them. They was just chasing and run scene. But then they get split up.
Yeah.
because
Not
clown.
all of them. And that's the
Yeah.
sad part about it. I wish they all split up and had different
Yeah,
kind of
see,
encounters.
that would have been cool.
That would have been a lot better, but they didn't.
Yeah, they pretty much just fended. They just killed the serial killer guy,
Yeah.
and then Megan ran. Pretty much, she had the Until Dawn guy that played as the serial killer
Yeah.
because she encountered her sister, and then she had to kill her sister.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, fine.
Yeah, I was like, all right. Once when they kill the clown, the Wendigos get in again, so the three of them go running.
Mm.
Megan or Chloe encounters Megan, hears her, just by chance she screams, and then she's trapped in there with the Wendigo trying to slash her face.
Yeah. I don't know what was the point of that, really.
Yeah.
They just had it there for some reason.
In a way, she's the luckiest. She didn't have to run or anything, only towards the end.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that nothing really happened with that part. It's like I thought she was gonna make a choice or something, but I'm like, with what choice?
Yeah, because you got to think about Until Dawn had the choices in the game.
Yeah,
which there's no
exactly.
really. I mean, you could say everything they did was a choice, but it's like.
But it wasn't that good, and obviously there was nothing very much impactful. So obviously she went to go trying to find a key so she could let Megan out of her situation.
And then she bumps into.
Hill, the Dr. Hill.
Yeah, which I thought he was cool.
I like the interesting stuff that he was talking about, that it is probably very likely in your minds, that you're just hallucinating, that you're just not thinking of the bigger picture,
Yeah.
that you're thinking all this. And I'm just like, all right, that's cool, I guess. But is it actual spiritual things, or is it actually like legitimately in their minds?
No, which it's actually.
And to be honest, I'm just thinking to myself, because obviously the only way to kill him is either by stabbing him, or she did something clever, is you see that water dripping, and he was drinking coffee, and she just slid the coffee underneath the water, the poisonous water, and she slid it back into the same position.
Which he drinks.
Which he drinks, which I thought he was going to be clever enough to go like, oh yeah, you think I was going to drink this, right? But no, nothing. He drinks it.
Yeah, he drinks it. He literally explodes.
Yeah, and I'm just like, wow. So that was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
She gets the keys and frees Megan in time.
Yeah, and I'm just like, see, this is the part where you were kind of losing me, because
Nah, you pretty much lost me towards the end. I mean, except when the interaction with them.
yeah, but I was losing it a lot more because nobody else was dying, like officially, except that one guy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, you're losing me. And then basically everything happened. There was a chasing. Nobody else died.
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of stuck together at that point.
Yeah.
And lived throughout the night except one guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn it. You could have made it more better if people actually split up, and then they actually would have died one by one by different elements. But no, you chose the safe route.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to forget about this film eventually.
Yeah, I know.
So it was kind of disappointing, but it's still enjoyable to watch just because of the killing stuff. That is what I came here to watch and paid. This is why we gave it a little high score.
Yeah.
It would have got a D+, but a C-, I think it fits
they
right
definitely
there.
should have done more splitting up.
Yeah.
Instead of just the main character.
Exactly. See, and this is the part where it was very interesting because they finally made it to Until Dawn.
Yeah.
So basically everything was set up, everything was fine, and basically they're just like, all right, what do we do next? And you hear the guy in the Jeep already. He's in the car. He's like, what, you want to stay another night?
Yeah, for real.
And yeah, exactly. So they just got up and left. But after that moment, something happened.
Oh yeah, what happened?
So basically, where they go back into the the screens, everything else flicker, changes the setting into the original game. So it actually became the actual game.
Yeah. Until
Dawn.
So this is a prequel?
This is a prequel to the actual game. And you just see the guy sipping the cup again.
Yeah.
I'm guessing what I'm trying to figure out, was it the big guy or was it Remy, the guy who was from the Until Dawn game? Yeah. Remember, because he did show an appearance in a photo. If you glimpse of that really quickly.
Yeah. There was another guy though in that photo too, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking it was that guy.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that it would make sense. Because I don't think it's Hill drinking the cup of coffee again.
Yeah.
Or then again, can you imagine if the guy from the first Until Dawn game drank that coffee while he was drinking out of it explodes? But no. It's basically telling the cycle is repeating itself again.
Yeah. Just with different people.
Yeah, from the actual game.
Yeah.
And basically that's where I found very interesting. And I was like, oh, okay, that was cool. I like that part. But the rest, not so much.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? It's part of the game. I did find it interesting. They put it into the elements of an actual movie, and it was headed through that direction. Yeah, and that was pretty much it. They survived the night. There's nothing else that's going to happen. Are they going to contact the cops? No, not really.
No, there's nothing you could do, really.
Exactly. Nothing at all. It's just going to be until dawn. And who knows if they're going to make another sequel or another prequel to this. Who knows? They could if they really want to, but I don't think it's doing that good in the box office anyway.
Yeah.
But oh well,
Yeah.
It don't matter. It's just going to be one of those films that you could actually go watch it with friends and just make fun of it. Who knows? Maybe it could just be a Friday freaking movie night. I don't care. It's going to be one of those things. But either way, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you guys on the next one. All right, later.
Later.